Now to the chilling turn tonight in the killing of a dentist and his wife in Columbus, Ohio. That case we've been following. That wife's ex-husband is now charged with murder tonight, and how they tracked him down. Here's Alex Perez.
Tonight, after a 10-day manhunt for the killer of Ohio dentist Spencer Tepe and his wife Monique, investigators now say they were shot by Monique's ex-husband.
Imagine waking up on an ordinary December morning, going to work, living your life, while just blocks away, two small children sit alone in a house with their parents' bodies upstairs. They're hungry. They're scared. They don't understand why mommy and daddy won't wake up. Now imagine this. The person who destroyed their entire world had been out of their mother's life for 8 years. 8 years of silence. 8 years of a parent moving on. 8 years of what everyone thought was a closed chapter. What happens in a human mind during 8 years of waiting? What kind of darkness grows in that much silence? December 30th, 2024. Athens, Ohio. A dentist doesn't show up for work. For most people, this might not sound like an emergency, but Spencer Tepe wasn't most people. His boss knew something was catastrophically wrong the moment Spencer's chair sat empty that morning. Spencer was the kind of man who showed up. Always. The kind of professional who took pride in never letting people down, who understood that when you're a dentist, people are trusting you with their pain, their fears, their vulnerabilities. So when 8:58 a.m. rolled around and Spencer hadn't called, hadn't texted, hadn't sent any kind of explanation, his boss did something that probably saved 2 children from an even worse trauma than they were already enduring. She called 911. Listen to what she told the dispatcher, and really hear the dread in her words. She said Spencer was reliable, always on time, and what worried her most was that no one could reach his wife Monique either. Both phones going to voicemail. Both adults unreachable. A household gone completely silent. The dispatcher tried to reassure her, suggested maybe they'd simply overslept, but this boss knew better. Sometimes we know people well enough to know when something isn't just wrong, it's unthinkable. By 10:03 that morning, a friend of Spencer's arrived at their home in Columbus's Weinland Park neighborhood for a wellness check. Picture yourself in his position for just a moment. You're worried about your friend, so you go to check on him. You walk into a house that looks normal from the outside. No broken windows. No kicked-in doors. No signs of struggle visible from the street. But when you get inside and climb those stairs, you find your friend lying next to his bed in a puddle of his own blood. And then you hear them, the screaming. 2 tiny voices, ages 4 and 1, who have been alone with incomprehensible horror for hours. The friend's 911 call captured those screams. Those children's terror is preserved forever in an audio file in a police database somewhere, a permanent record of the moment their childhood ended. Spencer Tepe was 37 years old, a dentist fluent in Spanish who dedicated his practice to serving others. Monique Tepe was 39, a woman with a background in childhood education who loved baking and creating warmth in her home. They'd met online after Monique's divorce and married in December 2020. Their relationship was described by everyone who knew them as beautiful, strong, deeply happy. They were 1 month away from their 5th wedding anniversary. They had built a life together that included 2 young children, a golden doodle, and all the ordinary magic of a family that actually worked. But someone had decided that life needed to end. Both Spencer and Monique were found on the 2nd floor of their home, killed by gunshot wounds sometime between 2 and 5 in the morning. No forced entry. No weapon left at the scene. No signs of robbery or random violence. This was targeted. This was personal. This was someone who knew how to get into that house, knew the layout well enough to navigate it in darkness, knew exactly who they were there to kill. The Columbus police immediately ruled out murder-suicide because the evidence made it impossible, but that left them with a question that sends chills down your spine. Who loved these people enough to be welcomed into their home, or hated them enough to learn how to get in? The investigation moved fast because of one crucial piece of evidence: surveillance footage. Multiple neighborhood cameras captured a figure walking through a snow-lined alley next to the Tepe home during that 3-hour window when the murders occurred. The person wore light-colored pants and a dark hoodie, head down, hands tucked into pockets, moving deliberately through the cold December night. Watch that footage if you can find it, and ask yourself, what is that person thinking as they walk? Are they rehearsing what they're about to do? Are they talking themselves into it, or have they already made peace with becoming a killer? Is their heart racing, or have they gone completely numb? Detectives tracked that figure's movements through various cameras and identified a vehicle. This is where modern technology becomes both a detective's best friend and a criminal's worst nightmare. That vehicle arrived shortly before the murders and left shortly after. Investigators traced it across state lines, all the way to Rockford, Illinois, where it was registered to a 39-year-old vascular surgeon named Michael David McKee. And here's where this case stops being a tragic mystery and becomes something far more psychologically complex. Michael McKee was Monique's ex-husband. Let that sink in for a moment. Not her current husband. Not a recent ex in the throes of fresh heartbreak and rage. Her ex-husband from a marriage that ended in 2017. They'd been married less than 2 years, divorced on grounds of incompatibility, and apparently gone their separate ways. No children together. No ongoing custody battles. No documented drama in the divorce proceedings. The court records show a clean split. He got the house in Virginia. She was living in Westerville, Ohio. No spousal support awarded. It appeared to be exactly what a mature, amicable divorce should look like. They'd both moved on. Or so everyone thought. But had McKee moved on? This is the question that should keep you awake tonight. What was happening inside his mind during those 8 years of apparent silence? He'd gone to medical school at Ohio State, built a successful career as a vascular surgeon, maintained a clean medical record with no malpractice claims or disciplinary issues. By all outward appearances, he was a functioning, successful professional living his life in Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood. But somewhere in the hidden chambers of his psychology, was something festering? Was he watching Monique's social media, seeing her happiness with Spencer, watching her children grow, observing the life she'd built without him? Or did something specific trigger him recently? Some event or realization that turned 8 years of dormant feelings into homicidal rage? Think about the premeditation required here. This wasn't a crime of passion. You don't drive from Chicago to Columbus in the middle of the night on impulse. You don't figure out how to access someone's home, execute 2 people, and leave without being immediately identified unless you've planned it. The charges against McKee were upgraded to aggravated murder, which in Ohio requires proof of prior calculation and design. This means prosecutors believe they can demonstrate that McKee thought about this, planned it, made conscious decisions about how to destroy 2 lives.
All in favor of Michael McKee?
Turn order for the defendant is present in custody.
Your name, sir, for the record?
Michael McKee.
Have you had a chance to speak with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's your position at this time?
Yes, at this time, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. McKee, I will assert his right to counsel. I will assert his right to remain silent. And Mr. McKee believes that the most expeditious manner in which he may defend himself against the charges pending in Ohio and to plead not guilty would be to waive his right to an extradition hearing and to have a governor's warrant and to agree to his immediate transportation to Ohio.
Understood, thank you. We will set this matter then for 2 o'clock on Monday. Your status on the transfer.
Thank you.
Anything else we can do today?
Not from this one.
Thanks, everyone.
McKee had no obvious motive that anyone can see. The divorce was years ago. Monique had moved on completely, married someone else, had children with that person, built an entirely new life. What revenge fantasy sustains itself for 8 years? What perceived injustice burns hot enough for nearly a decade that it finally explodes into double homicide? Criminal psychologists will tell you that some people never actually process rejection. They simply bury it, and buried feelings don't disappear. They calcify into something harder and darker. Every time McKee saw evidence of Monique's happiness, was it like a fresh wound? Did her joy feel like his humiliation? Did Spencer's existence feel like a personal insult? And what about the children? This is perhaps the most haunting aspect of the entire case. McKee would have known those children were in that house. They weren't his children. They were the living proof of Monique's life after him. But they were still children. He left them there, alive but traumatized beyond measure, to discover their parents' bodies, to spend hours confused and terrified and alone. What kind of psychological compartmentalization allows someone to kill 2 adults but spare 2 children in the same house? Was it mercy or just calculation? Did he think he was somehow sparing them? Or did he simply not care enough to consider what their lives would be like after that morning? On January 11th, 2026, McKee was arrested in Rockford. He appeared in court shackled and wearing a mustard prison jumpsuit, spoke only to state his name, and waived his right to fight extradition to Ohio. His public defender indicated he intends to plead not guilty. So now we wait. We wait for the discovery process that will reveal his internet searches, his phone records, his movements in the months and days before the murders. We wait to find out if he'd been surveilling the Tepes, showing up in Columbus without anyone knowing, building toward this moment. We wait to understand the unknowable. What transforms a seemingly successful surgeon into someone capable of this level of violence? 2 children are now being raised by relatives, learning to live in a world where their parents were taken from them by someone who once promised to love their mother. A golden doodle lost its family. A dental practice lost a dedicated doctor. A community lost 2 people who contributed goodness to the world. And somewhere in an Illinois jail cell, a surgeon sits with whatever thoughts allowed him to cross the line from fantasy to action, from anger to murder. This is She's Alive, and I need you to think about something. We tell ourselves that we'd recognize evil if we saw it, that monsters look monstrous, that dangerous people announce themselves with warning signs and red flags. But Michael McKee was a surgeon. He saved lives for a living. His medical record was spotless. He appeared to be exactly what society tells us a successful person should be. So how do we protect ourselves and the people we love from threats we can't see coming? How do we recognize when someone's silence isn't peace but planning? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt like someone from your past was watching you, even years later? Do you think 8 years of apparent normalcy proves someone has moved on? Or could it just be 8 years of hiding what they really feel? And here's the big question. Do you believe McKee acted alone? Or is there more to this story that hasn't been revealed yet? Hit that subscribe button because this case is far from over. And when the trial begins, when we finally hear what the prosecution has found, when we understand what really drove this seemingly successful man to destroy an entire family, you'll want to be here for the breakdown. I'm watching this case closely, and so should you. Until next time, stay aware, stay safe, and remember, She's Alive means we keep telling their stories, we keep demanding answers, and we never forget the victims. Spencer and Monique Tepe deserved so much more than this ending. Let's make sure their story isn't forgotten.